last a while. Even when the life leaves your bones, your soul will follow me wherever I go. It's in the way I feel your fire, even when I sleep at night. I stay inside the glow. I'm out of sight, but am I out of mind? And when I close my eyes, I dream I see you in the afterlife. Now there's nothing left. I dream I see you in the afterlife.
Everybody, welcome to the first session of A World Awakened. I just want to give a quick thanks to Brody for wrapping up the last wonderful campaign and having to deal with my wild magic, so sorry that I did that to you for an entire year. Please don't do it to me.
Fuck you, so.
And roll a D100? Okay. So you guys are at the Point North Terminal, which is there in the center of the map, if you guys are not familiar.
Okay.
That little island, right? It's a town, but it's mostly a port where all the ferries come through and people exchange and transfer to get on ferries to go other places. And that was what the little introduction thing that I sent out months ago was. So I'm just going to reread that so we can get back into the vibe. So, you find yourself at the center of the modern world, Point North. A warm breeze caresses your cheek, and the heavy summer air breaks into sweat on your brow. A groan in your belly pesters you, and throngs of folks from all walks of life pass by here and there. Some are the same destination, some perhaps to other faraway places. Deep in thought, you stare out through the surrounding crowd at the beautiful ocean, and lumbering ferry boats are expertly piloted into the slips before you, ushering dozens of passengers onward and receiving dozens more. There are ladies in white veils that pray near the water. Well-dressed businessmen from the city jeer and hiss at them while they wait. Some peasant fishermen unload barrels from a ship, cursing and spitting at the men in suits. And the terminal garrison walks slowly nearby, not really paying anyone any attention. A royal ambassador and his guards exit a private ferry to some applause, and dignitaries stop to wave. And then immediately one of them takes a rotten tomato to the face. Others in the audience point and laugh, and a fight breaks out, of course, between the ambassador's entourage and some ruffians there. Some beggars cup their hands, asking you for a few copper, and some street children you see walking up to people distracted and take whatever they like out of their pockets. Enveloping you, pretty much completely overhead, is the immense Point North Terminal. It's a grand palace of movement, the central transfer hub of the entire realm. The huge coastal structure is a beautiful stone keep. It's like granite archways and then a big granite slab that you're walking on, and all of these ships kind of like come in underneath the arched roof to the slips, and they park there, so they're sheltered from the elements. Ships or goods and people move inbound and outbound. Pretty much all the money, goods, and people that keep this world, moving, transfer before you. Only 1 week from today, until the war's end, 10th anniversary celebration begins, the biggest event in the realm of generations. Just overhead, a loud clicking emanates from above you, and you crane your neck upwards to see what the hell the noise is. It's an information board being updated, one of those old analog flip ones, right? Lines of text flip away letter by letter into the past, replaced in continuity by the present and the future. The lines scan ahead, top to bottom, and then you see Gate 9, Capital Express to Lunis, is on time. You glance down in your hand and see your ticket, Gate 9, General Admission. A nervous wave washes over you for some reason as the water hits the piers below and the whistle sounds, signifying that the craft has docked completely. The drawbridge besides the ferry falls into place and commuters jostle on position. Quickly, carefully, one usher shouts as people try not to fall into the water. What is everybody's thoughts as you're entering this ship? It's not. This is a kind of a new invention in the world. These ferries. What does Mylos think as he gets on board this Wefway?
What's Wefway? He's interested. This is nice to him. Honestly, he's never really been on any ships. He's still wondering why he's got a ticket, why he's been selected to come here. Still kind of been like, I just something came to my monastery, and I was like, all right, I'm here. I'm here to learn my ways of anything, but like eyes wide open, ready to explore and kind of just take everything in.
A young man on an adventure.
Yes.
I think. What does Hieu think?
I think he was kind of posted up against like a wall chewing on ginger because he gets like seasick. He's a forest man. He's a mountain man, so he's like, why am I on this?
Like Dramamine?
yeah, ginger because it has properties that make you less like nauseous, less dizzy and stuff. So he's just like chewing away and stuff, just like stuffing it into his mouth and like rubbing it on his gums.
Okay. Jerry?
Jerry might see you and look for him. I might go, it's not the worst thing I've ever been on. Let's just get this over with.
All right.
Stumble with the crowd.
What does Earl think?
Earl's probably unfazed by the fairies, and he's looking for an old woman, and he says, come on, grandmother, and he's like helping her across like the thing, and like helping like old people that need things like that or whatever, and he's like ushering them onto the ferry, like helping anybody that's having some like issues getting on.
Certainly the portsmen are not helping people aboard, so yeah.
Earl probably sees that and is like, gives him like as he like steps onto the ferry, kind of like shoulder checks, like gives him a jostle or something like that as he walks up
Yeah.
to the ferry.
All right, King.
I might walk by you and you may not even notice me, but I go to kind of support, and I'm like, I don't really like this thing either. Probably prefer a little bit of an older kind of ship. You are helping the elderly instead. I'm like, okay, that's fine, and kind of stumble my way in, and like uncomfortable and a little like, okay, no one's gonna help me. That's fine.
You expected him to help you? Is that what you're saying?
I thought you were reaching out for me, and this other lady comes up. I'm like, that makes sense. No, it's fine.
I thought the wealthy got this treatment.
Kind of like toss my hair. I'm like, no, I wasn't reaching. But yeah, I don't love the new system, but it's okay.
Is King wearing his crown?
Yeah, it's a little small.
Can I roll perception to see if I would notice it?
Absolutely.
10 plus would be like a 12. Like that's like higher than passive.
You think it's a guy dressed up as a king?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Like, see him approaching, it's like, come on, bro.
It's like an it's an Amstead costume.
It's like nobility and they're fucking posh, dressed up play for the capital.
I brush it off and kind of go to the other end so I don't have to talk to you.
Find a seat. Okay. Well, we can't exactly do this for Rample, can we? Right now, can't. So that's okay though. Okay, so as everybody, no, he's here. We'll find out here in a moment. So the ferry that you all are getting on here, I'll draw the image over there for us so we can get a look at it. There you go. Here's our ferry from the top view. Okay. So, ferry is about 150 feet long and 70 feet wide. The deck sits just a few feet above the waterline, which is ideal for loading people and cargo aboard, as you can imagine. But that means it doesn't travel very quickly. So there are 3 drawbridges, 2 in the back where passengers come on, that's on the right, and then 1 in the front for cargo. So all those little boxes and barrels are just cargo that has been quite a few, especially standing room. So you can see how many seats are there. Those are bench blocks in the back there. So
standing up too, so we're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So the back deck is mostly for passengers. Several pods of benches are there for use by all to rest during the voyage. And in the center there, between those wheels, is the engine house. It's a 2-story structure like a factory where the crew powers and controls the vessel. Atop of that are those 2 bigger black circles are smokestacks, and curiously, a like pinkish glittering glow comes out of the top of them rather than like black or white smoke, what you'd be used to from a fire or something.
See anything like that?
I don't know. Why don't you roll a history check for me and see if you've ever seen.
So 15.
I would say you haven't seen this, but you've probably read about this.
Okay.
Sort of an arcane power source. Okay, that powers machines.
Mylos under his breath.
Oh.
Very cool. Oh, man.
He doesn't even know what he's saying.
What way?
What way? Yeah, okay. Also, impossible to miss are 2 massive water wheels. You've all seen like a steamboat, like an old-timey riverboat, right? So there's 2 water wheels on the side, and they churn the water, and that's what propels the craft pushing ahead. So, and then finally on the bow is just like a stowage area for a bunch of goods and cargo. So you were hustled aboard by the ushers to the last full booth at the end of the vessel, which is going to be that one top right on the back there where those eight seats are basically. You thought, as you sat down, that you'd be the last one on, pretty much. Just the whole thing filled up. But then the usher just shouts, "Standing room only, folks, or wait for the next one." And then like a whole massive group of people that don't want to wait 2 more hours for the next ship just start cramming aboard, okay? So it is standing room only. They are right up on you, like ass to face, if you were to look away from your chairs, basically. What you can see, though, and what catches your eye, are 2 groups, okay? To your right is those ruffians that started the fight with the ambassador's entourage. Folk certainly from the countryside, you can smell these guys like 10 feet away. They just smell like they've been working in the fields. Yeah, just like manure or dirt, sweat, just being outside, that smell of being outside.
Geraldine fits in.
City.
What?
I got a city smell.
We'll get to
The city stand, got it.
I would be curious what King Shore thinks about this smell.
I've been traveling for a good 4 days now. So I've seen my smell.
Is he pretty ripe?
It's pretty hard. You can see when they kind of come up close to me. And I turn, and although I try to sit away from you, I see you on my side, so I turn back to you.
Okay. See, on the other side of you,
Looking at your helmet, just fully looking at your light.
Squirming back and forth.
so on your other side is the dignitary that you saw before and his entourage. He kind of like wipes his face. He's still getting some of that tomato off. It's like caught in his beard there. He is very well dressed, but he is completely unfazed by the stares and the stress of all the people around him. He actually, his guys kind of make a little bubble like you would for, if you brought somebody to their first concert and you were trying to protect them in the pit.
The president.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you see that he is holding a leather briefcase. It's like all black, looks very important, like it would carry documents or something like that, like a folio basically. So he comes over to take his seat, and he has this big full length cape, right? And he goes to sit down, and he just kind of real easy pulls his cape out so as to not sit on it, and just sits and crosses his leg and puts the folio on his lap here like that. Theresa, roll a perception check for me. 17. Okay, you easily see when he pulled his cape out there, embroidered on the outside of the cape, you see the common seal of the city of your origin, Steel Said. So this is the ambassador from Steel Said. So you're crammed in the corner, like I said, in that pot of seats with a good view down the side of the vessel, so you can see the wheels moving and everything. There's others sitting beside and across from you, which we are here at this table, right? This is the pod that you're sat with, okay? All the seats aboard the ship are taken, and some people are even forced to stand or sit on the floor for the entire days-long journey to Lunis. This is a very slow-moving ship.
Is there anybody with any ailments or any old people or things like that came on in the second round?
Yeah, there's definitely people that, children, pregnant women, older folks, guys with canes.
Pregnant women near us, I would just stand up and I would say, and set her down in my chair, and then I'll just stand kind of nearby.
Okay, all right. So you help a pregnant woman into your seat. Maybe you're sitting on the edge, as you are at the edge of the bench. So
Yeah,
now there's a
sure,
pregnant lady sitting with
If the chairs are
the 5 of you.
if the chairs are attached to something, I can just lean on the post that they're kind of attached.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like being on a bus. This is like a pole. Yeah. Okay, so he gives his seat to a pregnant lady. She's like, "Oh, thank you so much," and she just holds, and she does that thing pregnant ladies do, where they put their hands on their belly. She's very content at that. So behind you, you guys have started moving. The Point North terminal just slowly disappears over the horizon, and you guys kind of can look back and easily see it go over, and you're just completely surrounded by ocean at this point. It's like being on a cruise if you've ever been out, right when you see land for the last time. What are your thoughts?
I'm
He's into the ginger.
The ginger eating. I'm I don't think that stuff really works.
excuse me, sir, can I get some of that? The pregnant lady asks you very nicely.
I pull out like my little pouch and I lean over and I.
Oh, absolutely. She puts it in her nose. Yep, and then she just sits back, content with
I
that.
think Hieu nods and he like writes it in his like little notebook. He's like, oh, interesting. And I think he's kind of got his like head on a swivel for anyone who's like actively hurt, so that he can like help heal them and do like first aid.
Okay, all right. We'll get to that in a moment, but yeah, you don't see anybody immediately around you because it's very packed. Like I said, you can't like see all the way down the ship. You could just see like the maybe dozen or so people that are immediately around you. What's Mylos think?
He's just looking at all the different faces and looking left at the dignitaries, right at the ruffians, just like sitting back and watching because he's like, I don't know any of these people in here. So.
Are you pretty wide-eyed, like looking around the boat and stuff?
Oh yeah,
Is it pretty
people can
evident on
tell.
your face? Yeah.
People can just tell I'm looking, scanning. What's this weird lizard fucking guy looking at? You know? Looking.
Earl's like, clear, sir. Is this your first time?
Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm trying to get the accent.
You good?
Give me a second here, guys. First time on. Fuck.
Throw it out there.
I'm going. Hold on.
It'll evolve. It's fine.
It'll come. Yes, Mylos. My name is Mylos Bluears.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Earl Maglund. It's like kind of like.
Does he know how to shake hands?
Yeah, I'm familiar. He's seen it happen, but he's like,
He's only studied it.
he's looked at it. He's like,
Is this how you do it?
I hear for. I hear for. How you say? I get tickets. I come here.
The celebration in the capital.
Yes, I go to the place.
I'd say everybody's coming on the bars
on
to head
this
to the
big-
capital for that.
On this big machine. You see the pink smoke, right? Oh.
I do see the pink smoke.
Have you
know
saw
anything
it?
about that?
He's like, I do, right? I mean, I've read about it, right? Yeah.
Sure,
I'll
it's
explain
pretty
it.
evident as well. I mean,
Explain
it's
it.
like billowing.
Yes, because of the magic. I think that's why it's here. The new magic from the thing that the war.
Interesting. You know about the boats, but you've never been on one like this before?
Not like the pink smoke one. No.
Interesting.
Okay.
Nice to meet you,
It's a
Mr.
pleasure to meet you.
Mr.
too.
Maglund.
I'm sure we'll be seeing each other in the capital off-boarding.
You mind? Oh, okay.
Mylos is like a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
So he's very young, right?
Earl's like taking it back, but then he just kind of goes back to resting, just keeping an eye on like the
Now,
like,
Mylos
hairs
is
and
just-
little.
So King, you're now sitting next to this pregnant lady with ginger shoved up her nose,
Yeah.
taking a nap.
I think. Oh, never mind. Well, I think there's other pregnant people that could lean and have the support.
That's good. Stand and lean.
Yeah, I mean, if you gave her the chair, I mean, there's a. Well, I have my leg hurts, but sometimes they could.
Can I make an insight check?
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Oh, it hurts so bad.
It's a 22.
It hurts so. Okay, it doesn't hurt, but I mean, they. Are you here?
King, she turns real close to you. She's trying to get comfortable, and these seats are just like a hard wood. And then she kind of goes right towards you.
Maybe you should eat. They were eating it earlier.
Are you alright, ma'am?
She's
Are you doing okay?
I'm coming.
You can ask for another. Don't take that one out, but like eat a different
You might
one.
not get
She
on
pulls the
and
one
say
out of her
like
nose
somebody
and
else.
eats that one.
It's fine.
As it looks that way,
I
you're
think I
gonna
might.
heal.
I stand up and like can't take a step anywhere, and then someone takes my seat, and I'm standing.
Yeah. It's another pregnant woman.
And I take out my notebook and pretend to start reading and writing.
Earl turns his head and is just like that's like one solid like.
Mylos was looking at this whole thing because he's instantly stuck on Earl now because he's like, he's talking to me. Okay. She's talking to that guy. He's like
Like a nice guy. Wow.
just watching, focus in,
Hyper focused on.
Try not to be weird, but like obviously doesn't know.
So as you guys are being inadvertently pestered, some of you, by pregnant women taking seats, this like little snobby like young man, maybe 19, 20 years old. He's got like long, greasy blonde hair. Comes up like this dude looks straight out of high school, basically. Like, but he's wearing Royal Navy guard that is garb that's way too big for him. It like hasn't been tailored yet. He doesn't have his name tag on or anything like that. And he just kind of like comes up and he's got like a little notebook like this. And he's like, where are you from?